before.
Okay.
He tends to be between like 30 and 40.
Okay.
Bessie tends to be 35 and 45, but more times than not 40, 45.
Oh, it's like a 5 number difference. Then.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, that's pretty good.
It's not too bad. When I went for a walk with Bessie yesterday, I was trying to check the number, get it set up, and I didn't realize I hadn't switched it over to hers.
Dog.
So I'm just tapping Ben.
Sure.
He's in the house, and I'm just tapping.
I've done that myself.
Yeah.
You're not the first person.
It was just really funny.
Yeah.
Okay, you ready? Let's see. Who would you like me to start with?
We'll start with Bessie, so I'll take Ben for you.
Okay. Thank you, because... Come here, Benny. You're going to hang out with Jessie. There you go. You're like, who are you?
And then we'll do the same thing here on the sidewalk.
Okay.
And then I'll have you just show me what you've been practicing, and then we'll take it from there, okay?
Okay.
Yep. What's the number?
45.
Okay, let's go down to 38. Yeah, there you go.
Is that better?
Yeah. We'll start with that. Go ahead and slow walk, but keep walking. That's good. Yeah, I can see her anxiety kind of spike a little bit. So you see like her tail wagging and stuff?
But it's more her stressed tail wag.
Yeah, exactly. So, but that looked good.
Okay.
On a couple of the turns, I saw you pop a little bit on the leash.
Oh, she wasn't looking at me.
Okay, so don't worry about the look.
Uh-huh.
Just worry about her actively just turning with you.
Okay.
Okay? Like, you'll get the look from time to time.
Sure.
But as long as the dogs move, because they have a wider peripheral range than we do.
Okay.
So even though she's not looking at you directly, she can still see you in terms of on the outside of her, side of her eye.
Yeah.
So as long as those movements are correct, you're good.
Okay.
And if we do need to get her attention, I go to remote, not leash.
Oh, okay.
Everything's remote.
Okay.
Okay.
It's hard for me to switch gears from that.
Yeah, because of old habits, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So you're not the first person. Like it's everybody, especially if they've already done training
The more
before.
you point it out to me, though, the more it'll help. So.
Right. So now you're aware.
Yeah.
So that when you turn, if you find yourself wanting to pop her with the leash, just do a couple of taps.
Okay.
So the reason why I do this is the more you use the leash, the more you're used to it in terms of control.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
In terms of communication, and I want everything to be through the remote. So if something happens, your instinct should be jump to the remote.
Okay.
But if you're using the leash too much, it becomes jump to the leash.
Well, then it probably confuses her. Would you think it confused her because she's not sure what to respond to?
Well, there's things that I will correct that I won't do remote because the dog can't decipher what it is.
Okay.
So for instance, let's say, did we talk about crossing over where the dog like is over your body from turning?
Oh,
like,
we did, where you lift the knee to move to get them to move.
To get
out.
through, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So when we're in motion, a lot of times, especially if the dog's muzzled, they'll keep rubbing and it's ridiculous, right? It's really annoying and it hurts.
Oh, okay.
So if the owner remotes the dog's gonna come in tighter.
Okay.
Okay, because the dog thinks coming close. It doesn't understand we're correcting the muzzle, right? So what we do is we just turn in, boom, and with our thigh and our knee, we plow through the dog, and the dog goes crap, right?
Right.
So it's two different things. It's a different thing to correct a separate behavior to help the dog distinguish. Okay.
Okay.
So I don't think so much confuse her.
Okay.
More so that I want to just break you of the habit of using the leash, because what ends up happening is you'll use it more and more.
And less of this.
Less of that, and then the next thing you know, your dogs are pulling and forging and all that stuff. Walking wise, she was doing really good. Her energy was good. I could see her get a little bit more stressed out here a little bit, right? It's okay. Her walk was great. I saw the stress wag like you noted, right? But her turns were pretty good. I saw you do the leash pop, but I didn't catch exactly where she was in placement to you. But if you feel like you should ever do that, just jump to the remote instead.
Do the remote instead.
Okay? So we'll do a couple more pass-throughs, and then we'll work with Ben, and then we'll move on to the next thing.
Awesome.
Okay?
Cool. Okay, let's go.
Good turn. Go ahead and turn again. Good turn. And slow to stop. Yeah. Oh, that looks good. It's very good.
She's doing really well.
Yeah, no, that's great. It's what I expect to see, you know, in terms of obedience and stuff. Anxiety-wise, I can see her stress levels rising.
Yeah.
Right? How long it's going to take her to, like, settle, I don't know. But in terms of what you achieved in this past week or so, is really good.
Thank you.
Okay?
I would say in the neighborhood, she's less stressed.
Yeah.
But because we're here, she doesn't know where we are, what's going on.
Sure.
I feel like there's a spike.
Okay. Now, noting that, right?
Yeah.
Whenever I see anything behaviorally that the dog is struggling with, I use it to my advantage. Okay? So if you know in your neighborhood she's much better, clearly there's something that needs to be worked on.
Yes.
Is I would either start going outside of the neighborhood if possible.
Okay.
Targeting places, like let's say like she doesn't like very trafficked areas.
She hates bicycles.
Bicycles, stuff like that. Start exposing, right?
Yeah.
So that would be called flooding. Okay? Are you familiar with flooding?
Not as a dog term. I kind of figure what you mean by it though.
So it's when you put the dog in a context where there's like a stressor, right? And then you like let's say if I have a dog that is anxious around other dogs, they throw them in a room with a bunch of dogs, right? So that's flooding.
Right.
But just because you flood a dog doesn't make it beneficial. It has to be, in my opinion, the state of mind the dog is in, right?
Okay.
So right here, this is very good. You have her focus, you have structure, right?
Yeah.
And that, so when you present her into this environment, she has a baseline to go to, which is I'm walking with mom in this specific manner, right? And it helps her handle what's going on within the context. Okay. Otherwise, if she wasn't under command and there was a lot of this,
which is what was happening when I was coming in.
Yeah, right.
So,
not beneficial.
Not at all.
Because her stress is causing her to go crazy.
Yes.
And there's no direction, so that just reinforces that behavior. Whereas this is her confronting that behavior. Right. Okay.
Like you said, there's a difference between practicing fear and facing fear.
Correct. Right.
Yeah, that's our motto now.
Great. So now, I love it. Now, anything near you where you're like, oh yeah, she'd have a problem there, start targeting it. Okay. Putting yourself in that position. One, if she goes under stress and she's difficult to handle, that's how you develop your skill set. Okay, like that's why I'm such a good trainer, is because I've worked with a lot of very difficult dogs throughout my years. So I never worry about myself. I'm always like, I got to get the owner to be on the same page.
Yes.
So that's one thing. Okay. So like when I deal with dogs that are dog reactive, I'll tell the owner, now are you confident now with what you know? They'll say yes. I'm like, now start going outside the comfort zone. And then I was like, expect it to be bad, because now you're proactively putting yourself in that context. Makes sense that there would be a spike, but now you're already, like, you're going into it ready for it.
Right.
As opposed to when life throws you something and it's like, uh-oh, I didn't plan for this.
Right.
But you do it so much that when it's unplanned, it's no problem because you've done it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, because you know your default skills to go to help you out of the situation.
Exactly. You know, and I've been watching like on YouTube, like I there's this guy like Jocko Willinks. I don't know if you've heard of him. He's an ex Navy SEAL.
Cool.
So, and he's like reviewing movies where they do like military Navy SEAL stuff, right?
Oh, that's fun.
And then he's like, this is not realistic, this and this. But he starts talking about like, oh yeah, right here. He's like, you practice this so much that should it happen, it's just subconscious. Like you're already doing it, you're not even thinking about it, right? So it's the same thing with this stuff.
Yeah.
You know, you work with the dog so much in a stressful environment that you get used to it, that when it just happens, you're like, oh yeah. You just kick into gear. Exactly. Okay? So, and for the dog as well.
For sure.
Okay?
The one thing we did try and do was we live off Arlington Heights Road, and there are big trucks that drive home. She hates this spot.
Yep.
So we walked her there several times
Good.
to deal with it, and
Good.
that did help.
Good.
Because she hates this area.
Yes.
It scares the bejesus out of her.
Yes, that's really
We're
good.
trying to do that. I didn't get into Bussy Woods to go for walks with all the bikers, though.
Sure.
So that I will work on.
Yeah, no, for sure. You know, as you just make note of it, I like that you did that. That's really good.
Yeah.
You know, and don't feel like you have to do it. I always tell people, go about your life as you would.
Right.
Right? Because then you make things so unrealistic.
Yeah.
You know, like if you go once a week, then I continue with once a week, right?
Yes.
But I wouldn't go 5 times a week if that's not what it's going to be.
No.
It just means your progress might be a little slower, but you'll get there.
Right.
Okay, so that's really good. I like that you did that. Okay, so we'll switch dogs. We'll go to Ben here.
You get to go be Jessie now. This is for you. I'll take this.
Come here, you.
No. Wait.
And you'll do the same thing, just back and forth, see how he's doing, and then we'll move on to the more technical stuff.
He's been a little less diligent. It takes him a moment to kind of get with the program.
Okay.
But he's so excitable, so yeah. Oh, I'm zapping Bessie.
Did you switch it?
I did now.
Okay. Go ahead and hit your pager.
There we go.
There you go. Yeah, you got it.
Now he's switching.
Good turn. Good.
Keep going.
You're good right there. Very good. Excellent.
Good job. He did a good job. And I resisted. I tried. I was going to
Use your leash.
And I was like, no, and I hit the button.
Okay, excellent. So he's on the left, she's on the right.
Yes.
Okay. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna add in the word heel.
Okay.
Okay, so heel is what turns everything on.
Okay.
I think last week we talked about a release command. Was it the break?
I don't think we did.
Okay, so we may have ran out of time.
See a lot of people.
Break means your job is done.
Okay.
Okay, so like if you're walking with them, let's say you're walking with Ben, you go to the park and he's done really well and you decide to reward him with like free time.
Yeah.
You would say break, and break means now you're free.
Okay.
Okay, now you can pee, poop, roll around, sniff the ground, be a dog. He's on his own time. Okay.
Awesome.
Heel is now the on switch. Okay.
Okay.
So if you walk out and you don't say anything, technically the dogs can
Do whatever.
do whatever, right? Once you cue that word heel, everything we covered last week and everything that we covered this week will go into effect. Okay. We only say heel when we go from stationary to motion. Okay, so like right now you're stopped, right? So once you start moving again, you would say the word heel. Okay. Now, typically, when you say heel, we move forward to the left leg first because the dog heels to our left leg. So Ben is traditional. Okay. Bessie's non-traditional. Bessie's on the right side.
Poor Bessie.
So when you're walking with both of them, I would just stick to the left leg. Okay, because that's just what's the natural thing. But when you walk with Bessie by herself, you would actually move forward with your right leg because she's isolated. Okay, so if the dogs are walking to our left and we move forward with that left leg, because they have a wider peripheral range, when they see that leg moving, that tells them now we're walking again.
Gotcha.
Okay, that's the visual cue, kind of like this would be for sit and this is for down, right? The left leg moving is now we're walking.
Gotcha.
In more advanced training, left leg means move with me, right leg means you don't move. Okay, so like the stay.
How do you teach that?
It's super simple.
That's crazy.
It sounds complicated. It's super simple. Okay.
It's hard for my brain to do.
Yeah. So we're going to keep it simple.
Okay.
Just left leg. Okay.
Left leg.
So with Ben here, what you're going to do is you're going to say heel. You're going to move forward with your left leg. You're going to walk for a bit, slow down to a stop or turn, come to a stop. He should auto sit. Right.
Okay.
We're going to wait a moment. Heel, left leg. You're going to walk for a little bit, come to a stop. He should sit. Wait a moment. Heel, left leg, and we're going to repeat that 5 times.
5 times.
Yes. Okay.
You got that?
Tap forward.
What?
So go ahead and keep walking forward.
Heel.
Tap. There you go. Good. 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 Very good, right? So all you're doing is getting used to the pattern.
Okay.
Heel, left leg, now we walk, okay?
I like patterns.
It helps dogs pick up on it as well, okay? So that's fairly simple. So that just tells Ben or Bessie, now you have to pay attention.
Yes.
Okay, so if you don't say anything, they're free, they can pull, pee, sniff, run around, whatever. But once you cue the word heel, it's their job to pay attention. It's your job to reinforce them paying attention. Okay? Questions about that?
No, I'm just kind of thinking about how other training places always say heel is to bring them in close to you.
Yes, so that's a very common thing.
It is, and I like this better. Because
Yes.
I always felt like it was a command to be, I want them to focus, to be doing this. This seems to make more sense in my head.
Yeah, so I had
just-
the same problem. When I learned heel, or they tried to teach me heel originally,
Yes.
they taught it like you're talking about, which is come to my side or
Yes.
come to my heel.
It was never as effective.
And I was like, is this come to my heel or is this walk with me?
Yes.
Right? And it was very confusing. So that's 2 commands. If we're teaching come to heel, it's finish. And then heel is this.
Yeah.
Okay?
I like this better.
So thank you. I like it better too. I don't worry about the come to heel.
Okay.
Okay? It's family pet wise, most people don't even use it. They just call their dog and say heel and walk.
Right.
So whenever you go from stationary to motion, you cue this word and just make sure to use that left leg first.
You want me to let her do that, or?
Did you tap her?
I did once.
Okay, and then she laid down in response?
Yeah.
Then that's fine.
That's fine.
Yeah, okay. Because she was sitting originally, right? And we just put her in a more relaxed state.
I tapped her because she started to get all high-pitched.
Yes. Now, are these guys dog friendly?
Yes, for the most part.
Okay.
But lately, she hasn't been as much. She's been just more anxious.
Okay. Just so I know in case the dog approaches, I know what to do. Okay.
He tends to not. He does not like when dogs run up to him.
Sure.
That really, especially if I'm here. He
Sure.
does not like that.
Sure.
So I had a bad instance, a couple of them with that before. So.
Okay, sure. And we'll at some point talk about off-leash dogs and how to handle it.
Okay.
Okay?
That'd be great.
So, but I always tell people, don't be afraid to speak up or defend your dog.
I'm not.
Okay.
I had one time, dog jumped over a fence to come see us. He was not happy. I just stood in front and just put my leg out.
Yeah.
Just to get that dog away. I was like, you're not coming
Did the
here.
dog like back off?
He did a little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
But then I had to keep this guy.
That guy by
back.
back.
So then I was
yeah,
doing one of these. So.
For sure. Yeah. So.
And I didn't kick the dog. I just used my leg to move.
Oh, I'll kick the dog.
You should.
I mean, if
You
because
have, yeah.
the thing is, I've had, for instance, right now I have one client. Her dog's
Yeah.
been attacked by an off-leash dog 3 to 4 times
It's awful.
in like 6 months. And I had another client, 3 dogs in 2 years. Now I thought she was bad, and then I had this new client. I'm like, wow, I'm like, that's terrible.
That shouldn't happen.
No, like, and there's more to it, but
Yes.
at the end of the day, it's either a dog fight with sutures, drains, and antibiotics and a vet bill, or I kick the dog, they run off.
And it's over.
Yes. So, but we'll talk about that more in depth later on.
I'm chatty when Will's not here, so keep me focused.
No problem. So what we're going to work on now are the turns. Okay. So we have the on switch, but now there are specific ways of turning. Okay. Now it's going to be a little confusing for you because you're going to have a dog on each side.
Right.
Okay. So, let me think here. We're going to go off of traditional, which is left side, but you're gonna have to know both turns because you're gonna have a dog on each side, okay? And I'll demonstrate these to you, okay?
Okay.
Where's my button? All right, there we go. So I'll use Bessie here.
Okay. Yep.
You might see a little bit of confusion from her.
Okay.
Because she's used to being on the right.
Yes.
And now I'm doing everything.
Okay.
But don't tap it from here. I'll fix it.
Okay.
I think it's not.
I know, right?
So, when we have a dog to our left, right, heel, left leg,
Right.
okay? If you're going to be turning left, we call this the crossover turn, because you're crossing over the dog,
Right.
okay? Is you want to lead it with the leg opposite to the turn. So if we're turning left, we lead with our right.
Okay.
If we're turning right, we lead with our left, okay? So for the dog, if we're in heel, what do we want to do? What do we want to do before we stop?
Slow down.
Right, or turn, right?
Slow down, yeah.
Yeah, same thing, slow down.
Yeah.
So if I slow down and Bessie's paying attention, she slows down, that when I cross over with this leg, she'll see it and she'll naturally stop and turn with me. And we put it together.
Right.
Or she'll wait until I finish it and then she'll pivot into turn.
Okay.
There's no right or wrong here. I just think the dog can follow my lead, okay?
Okay.
So I'm gonna demonstrate this and then I'm gonna go to the other turn, okay?
Okay.
So I would say we would say heel, start moving.
Okay.
Right, left, right.
That went really well.
So see how she paused, right?
She did.
Slow down. Right, left, right. I'm not going to care about the sitting down right now.
Okay.
She's not sure what's going on with me.
Right.
Right, left, right.
Okay. So you're going to the left, you lead with the right leg. You're going to the right, lead with the left.
So try that again. Couple more, slow down. Get the attention. Don't have it. Right, left, right. Okay.
So it has a lot to do with the pattern we make for that.
Correct.
Right? So if I'm turning to the left, I lead with the right leg, 1, 2, like more of that kind of action, right?
Right.
I'm leading with my body.
Correct. So it's like dancing.
Yes.
Okay. And do you dance?
No, I'm terrible dancers.
So in dancing, there's a leader,
Right.
and they use body language or pressure to communicate to the partner what they're doing.
Okay.
So if I go like this, that's telling my partner we're going to turn, right? But I'm kind of leading it. So if I'm unsure, you'll stumble. Okay. I'm taking a couple of dancing classes, so I'm familiar with how it works. Same thing for the dog, though.
Yes.
If you start to, what's the word? Hesitate,
Yes.
right? The dog hesitates, and then everything gets thrown off. Okay. So you want to be very sure in your movements. The main thing is always that you slow down prior to that turn. Okay. So we get her attention. So there was one where I was like, I don't have her attention.
Right.
I did the pivot, right?
Yes.
But instead of using the remote, I just gave him a couple of pops on the prong.
Right.
To get her, and then I continued with the left turn. Okay. So I always make sure to get the attention first before I go to the next thing. people try to rush it, and they'll slow down the dogs over here, and they try to run around the dog, and I'm like, no. That's not how it's supposed to work. If you slow down, the dog slows down, you turn together. That tells me the dog is paying attention.
Well, she's good at that. I for the most part, when I turn, she knows when I'm slowing down and I'm starting to do this. She knows I'm in turn.
Yes.
So she's good about that.
Okay. So we just want to make sure
not as much.
We just want to make sure that our pattern is consistent. Okay. So when we're going left, it's right, left, and right. So on the sidewalk, if you follow that pattern, and I'll tell clients to like use the sidewalk as their guide. Okay. So they'll go right, left, right.
Ah, I like that.
Sidewalk, right, left, right.
Okay.
So it's very kind of stoic and robotic in the beginning.
Meditative. Now you're talking my language.
And we do this just to build the pattern down.
Yeah.
And then once you get it, it's just right, left.
Right.
It's very easy. But you see how like she's following my body? So in the beginning, it's awkward. Once you get it down, it's just feel. Okay, it's part of how you
That's how this felt the first week we were here with you. It was kind of awkward. We were like, but it's starting to feel more natural.
Yes.
So I kind of feel like I know them better, what they're going to do.
Yes. So the more you practice, the faster you get over. Okay. So we're going to start with that first with Ben. I'm going to have you do that same exercise. Okay. You're going to say heel. You're going to start walking, and then when you're ready, hug to the right of the sidewalk, and then do your right, left, right. Okay. And when you do that right leg, it's very pronounced 90-degree cut. You know, use those cracks to guide you. Okay. If you're slowing down and Ben keeps going, you want to do what?
Pivot.
Yes. Cat, turn, right?
Keep going.
Get him to line up and then try it again. Always get him to line up before trying to move forward. Okay?
Tension first.
Yes.
Focus. You can sit up over here. Come here. Can you sit? Sit for me. Heel.
Good. I'd cut in a little bit more.
Do you go out more?
No. Cut it when you turned right. I'd cut in a little bit sharper. Yeah. So because that's why you ended up on the grass. I would be more to the right, so you're at the very edge of the sidewalk.
Okay.
To give you space. You turn pretty sharp, but I'd make it a little bit tighter, so you stay within the sidewalk. Right, left. There you go. Right there. Good. Let's try 4 more. So you want to go left. You went right.
Yeah, I know. I was just trying to turn the other way. So
Oh, I see. Gotcha. Because people will they'll get the directions mixed up, right?
Yeah, right.
Left, right. There you go. You got it. Good. Right, left. There you go. 2 more.
boy. Slow down.
Right. There you go. 1 more.
This way, so it's nice man can walk by. Okay. This feels super awkward, but I think we can do it.
Yeah. It's always awkward in the beginning.
Hey, you want me to go again?
You have to. You're fine. You have to think about what legs you're doing. You're moving with. Okay.
Well, and can you sit? Sit. Benny. Sit. Sit. There you go. Don't look at them. Look at me.
Getting this into the muscle memory is the first part, and then it's applying it. Then things get awkward again.
Yeah.
Because now you get a plan. Oh, there's a red light. We're gonna turn left. So then you have to plan your paces, right?
Yes.
So once you get used to it, like I do this, I've done this for so long, so much that I can't do it the wrong way.
It's second nature.
Yeah, I have to, So in the beginning, what I suggest people do is they'll do 5 of everything before they start their walk to warm them up, and then they just go on their walk, right? And then as you apply it and you go about it, it kind of just becomes a part of you, and then you don't have to practice it anymore. Okay.
Yes.
So now we're gonna go to the pivots. So these pivots are the ones that you've been doing technically for the corrections with the 180 turns. Okay. However, this is a 180 turn. 180 turn when the dog is paying attention.
When the dog is. So does this still involve slow, or is this now like when you have to make a fast turn because something?
Still slow.
You still
Yeah.
slow. Okay.
Always, if you can, slow down for the dog. Okay. If you do anything fast and abrupt, most likely they're not going to catch it.
Okay.
It might happen, you know, in life.
Right.
But I don't do it intentionally. It's kind of like, oh, we had to because it is what it is. So like if you're driving and someone just cuts over and you just have to switch lanes, like you wouldn't want to do that normally.
Right.
But for the sake of avoiding a collision, you had to.
Yes.
Okay. So I'll demonstrate again with Bessie here.
For Mrs. Boo.
All right. So what we're gonna do here is now we're turning to the right, pivoting to the right, but we want to use left. Okay. Now people tend to do this naturally until I say to do it on purpose. Okay. So.
Well, like me trying to turn, and all of a sudden it's like. What?
Yeah. Now you're thinking about it.
Yeah.
Right? So it's the same kind of process. So the other was right, left, right. This one's gonna be left, right, left. Okay, so it's a 3-step process, but just opposite legs, okay? So when we're walking, slow down, of course. Left, right, left.
Oh, I see. Oh, okay.
Walk. Left, right, left. See how she naturally turned with me?
So it's the opposite. You're not trying to turn, you're trying to just change direction.
Correct.
Okay.
So the other one is like a U-turn.
Right.
And this one is like, it's just a 180 back.
Right.
The reason why I teach 2 is because you may not have the capacity, if you have to turn around, you may not be able to, you won't have the space on the
Right.
Right, because you take up the whole sidewalk.
You do.
So for the 180 pivot, I don't need more sidewalk. I just need the half that I already have.
Right. So this is very helpful if we're in the woods, you're on a hiking path or something, or a walking path, and you want to be able to pivot and go the other direction.
Correct. Now, if we're doing a soft left or soft right, it's super easy.
Yeah.
It would simply be right and we keep going.
Oh, I see. Okay.
If we're doing a soft right, it would just simply be left. Now we're going that way. Okay, so if you can do the pivots, then the turns are no problem. You just want to make sure that you're leading with the leg opposite to the turn. Left.
Wait, so it's the same as when we do the turns. If you want to pivot to the left, you want to lead with the right leg.
Well, you wouldn't. Yes. Yeah. So actually, if you're walking with Bessie, right? Because she's going to be on the right, it would be right, left, right. Does that make sense?
Okay, yeah. But so for Ben, it would be left, right, left.
Correct.
Okay.
Okay. Because if they're on your left side and you're going to make a 180 pivot, this leg is right next to them, and it gives them time to see it. Turn around. So let me see if you can do it again.
Okay.
Left, right. You see how she turns with me?
She did.
Because she's seeing this leg stretch out. See how it gets her attention?
That's really cool.
See?
Bessie, you're so smart.
So the whole purpose of last week was to teach the dogs to pay attention.
Right.
Okay. Now that we have their attention, I'm teaching you how do you communicate.
Right.
Right. Body language. So if we're doing everything correctly and we have the dog's attention, there should be no promoting.
You're right.
Right. Because if I slow down, they slow down, and I lead with my legs, and it's very natural to them. Okay. Because dogs are masters of reading body language. So as soon as you start to put all these things together,
tapping her makes her lay down.
That's fine. It's very smooth. Okay, if it ever feels awkward, if it ever feels like they're not getting it, the handler is doing something wrong.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Okay, most commonly they're not slowing down. That's the most common thing that people forget is to say, Jesse, my dog's not stopping with me, they're not turning with me, I tell them you're not slowing down. I know you're not. Okay?
Oh, I know that. I know. I've worked with customer service, different things like that. It's usually the person doing the thing.
Right.
Rather than
they're like, I am doing that.
I think there's something wrong with the computer. Are you sure it's like you?
Yeah. Question about this.
So it's just practice, right? And it's just remembering, so if you're pivoting and the dog is on the left, you have to step back with the right for the pivot. The dog's on the right, you go to the left foot so you can pivot.
Well, you're leading with the right, but going back on the left.
Okay.
Right? Because the way you said it right there.
This way to get the way, so they see this leg lift. This one's hard.
It's okay. So here, I extend the left.
Yes.
Back on that right, forward on that left.
Okay.
So you have the legs correct in terms of what leg you're going back on, but I think you're flipping how it's being used.
Yes. And
I feel like you're kind of more so talking about.
I'm worried too much about the leg I step back with than the leg that I'm turning.
Correct. So we'll do a batch of those pivots. Okay. So we're gonna do pivots to the right.
Okay. So
that's gonna be a left, right, left motion.
Like that?
Left.
So if I'm walking this way, I go left.
Left forward.
Left forward.
Left, right, left.
Oh!
There you go.
It's forward.
There you go.
Oh, it's forward. Okay. Come here, Ben. You got it. Go, yeah. Give it a try. Ready? Go.
Up, backwards. Left, right, left. There you go.
Did I do it?
Yeah, that was correct. Okay, 4 more. Right, left. You got it. Good. 3 more. Got it. 2 more.
Hooray! Okay, this feels easier than the turn now.
Yeah, the crossover is usually the hardest for people. There you go. There you go. You got it. Good. Go ahead and slow to stop.
What?
Slow to stop.
Oh.
You got it. Tap for the sit. Tap, tap. Lightly pull up. Tap, 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 tap. Now, did you say sit? You want to use your remote. Okay. So,
go higher because he doesn't.
I would have gone higher, correct, right? So, the reason why we don't say sit here is because that's a separate command. Okay. Heel is a package.
Okay.
Walk with me, stay with me, sit when I stop. So it should be automatic. Okay. Otherwise, if you say heel and then sit, it's heel, sit, heel, sit, heel, sit.
Okay.
Okay. And sit means sit down, don't move.
Okay.
And heel means walk with me, stay with me, sit when I stop.
Okay.
So if you move, Ben's assumption should be I move with you because that's what heel is. But when you stop, I put my butt down. Okay. So if you say sit, it becomes that command that if you walk away, I would expect the dog to not move. Okay. And with obedience, you want to be real black and white. Clear-cut lines, because we know what these things mean.
Right.
He just knows what he does in response to when he hears that word to avoid the remote.
Gotcha.
Okay, so he will never understand by definition what those words are. He just thinks when I hear heel, this is what I do with my owner, and I don't get tapped for it.
Yes.
Okay. So what we're gonna do now is I'm gonna have you with Ben here. Go ahead and practice through those things.
Okay.
You're gonna practice your heels to stops. You're gonna practice your crossover turns, leading with the right leg, and the pivots as well. And you're gonna like freestyle it.
It's like a test.
Yes. Okay.
Ugh.
So if all your movements are correct and we have Ben's attention,
Yes.
there should be no need for remote.
Right.
Okay. He should be turning with you because your body language is correct. However, if you lose his attention, you would correct him like you normally would, where you would pivot, tap, 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 get him to line up, and then continue with what you're gonna do.
Okay.
Okay. So the corrections are still involved in case you lose his attention. But technically, if you have his attention and are leading everything correctly, there should be no need for remote.
Okay.
Okay? Whenever you're ready.
Let's go, Benny.
Tap forward, keep going, you got it. left, right. You got it. Good. Good pivot. Good. Good. A little bit more. Good turn. Good. Good pivot. Excellent. Go ahead and bring Benny and then slow to stop over here.
How did he learn all of this so fast?
Because body language.
This is so cool. You're so smart. You're so smart.
Thank you. I've been doing this for quite a while. So, yep. Keep tapping. Lightly pull up. Tap, 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 and relax. Very good. So if he doesn't sit automatically, you would do it just how you did there.
Okay.
Because then the brain thinks, whenever we stop, this happens until I put my butt down.
Right.
So to avoid it, I'm just gonna put my butt down, and that's how we create an automatic or default response, okay? So, if
That's distracting.
excuse me?
That's distracting.
I know that the dog going back and forth. It's much harder for you because you can see it. I just hear it.
He like does somersaults into the sand.
I keep checking because in case the dogs are coming running over here.
Thank you.
So, yes, if your body language is correct, it's that quick.
Okay.
Okay. I tell everybody, heel is very simple to teach. If we did prong collar, like earlier, like with Bessie, saw like I was correcting her, but for her, it makes her push back, doesn't motivate her to move forward,
No.
okay? And that's what would make a dog like her difficult to work with. That's why I like remote collar, because it's easier to get a dog to move forward using remote than it is with a prong, okay? There's a bit more technical skill as well using a prong collar. And just the amount of physical force needed to like get some dogs' attention is just crazy.
Yes.
So remote makes things super simple. Once you got the attention, body language is super easy, okay? And I get this with like every case. As long as they have the attention, dogs pick it up right away. We got a dog coming behind you, by the way.
Thank you.
So we're gonna try the same thing again, but we're gonna swap dogs here, okay? Now with Bessie, I'm gonna have you bring her to your right side because that's what she would actually be, right? I showed you on the left for Benny's sake.
He does really well if I have him doing something like this.
For reactivity?
Yes.
Yeah.
This is better.
Yes.
Because if we're running and I'm not prepared, then it's chaos.
Correct. So whenever I deal with dogs that have reactivity, I always tell people step aside, have your dog go in a sitting position, because it takes more steps for the dog to escalate from passive state to reactive state. Whereas if you're already moving, the dog just needs to now bark and lunge. Like it's already like halfway there, okay? So we'll swap dogs. I'm gonna have you put her on your right, okay? Now, since you're walking with Bessie solo, when you say heel, right leg, correct.
You good boy. Have you told Jesse that you're the love of my life?
Come here, bud. Come on. Hey, boy.
Because I know mommy has you now. No.
Good job. Yep.
No, we're not doing that either.
So you're gonna start off just like you did with Benny. You're gonna start with the heel word first. Do 5, heel to stops, and then we'll start going into the turns. Okay? Whenever you're ready.
Heel.
Good. Good stop. Good. Do 2 more. Good, couple more. Very good, good move, good move. You're fine. Good turn. Very good. So, if you did a crossover
Yes.
with Bessie, what would you lead that turn with?
If I did a crossover turn, it would lead with my right leg. No, my left leg.
Your left leg, because you're crossing
The
over.
opposite.
Right, the opposite,
Hey.
exactly. So, do you want to try it yourself, or do you want me to show you first?
I'm gonna try it.
Okay.
I'm gonna try it.
So remember, use that sidewalk to your guide as your guide.
Yes.
You can use the cracks, hover to the left side.
I
Yep.
go to the left so I can lead with my left leg forward.
Exactly. Exactly. Pivot inwards,
wrong side.
because she's There you
Like,
go.
why am I confused? Heel.
Left, right, left. Good. 4 more. Good job. Left, right, left. Good. 3 more. Good job. Couple more. Good. Last one. Good. Go ahead and bring Bessie here. Good, and slow to stop when you're ready. Excellent, excellent. Good job.
Really well.
Yeah, absolutely.
I remember what foot to do.
Yes. Right. So once you get, it's easy, but for you, because you have two, you're gonna have a dog on each side. You'll be shifting between these, so you might take a little longer. But once you get the mechanics down, it's pretty straightforward. Okay.
Yeah.
So now, if you were to pivot with Bessie, which leg would you lead with?
My right.
Correct. So it'd be forward on the right, back on the left, forward with the right. Okay. So now I'm gonna have you do 5 pivots,
Okay.
heel to pivots with Bessie, leading with that right leg.
Okay. Heel.
Good job. Right, good. 3 more. Good. 2 more. Excellent. Last one.
You got that one really well.
Very good. So go ahead and slow to stop when you're ready. Excellent. Good job.
Yay!
So I'm gonna have you do the same thing.
Okay.
You're gonna freestyle it now.
Freestyle.
Heel the stops, or heel the sits, right? Heel to auto sits. Crossover right turns and pivots off the right leg.
Okay, we can do
Okay.
that.
Whenever you're ready. Yep. Good. Good pivot. Good. Good. Go ahead and pivot back. You went the opposite way.
I did. I was like, wait a minute.
Yeah. Now, technically, it wasn't wrong.
The left one.
But yeah.
We did a double turn.
So the next thing is just getting used to doing all these turns with them, right?
Yeah.
So like I said earlier, I said, let's say, practice with Benny first. You come out, 5 heel to stops, 5 heels to pivots, and 5 heels to crossover turns. Go for the walk. Get Bessie. Repeat, right? When you walk with more than one dog, you're going to go to default left leg, okay? And then the turns still remain the same. So if you're walking with Benny on the left and Bessie on the right, her crossover turn would still be loud with that left leg, right? And then the left turn would be crossing with the right leg. So all that stuff stays the same. Now, if you have a dog on each side, you're most likely not going to be using a pivot because it's going to be too hard, okay? But you most likely be using those crossovers, okay? So now you have those both down. Questions about any of that stuff?
It felt like with the pivot, when I kind of pause, I feel like if I can really pause to emphasize that leading leg and then go, that's so you can see that leg more. Is that okay?
Yeah.
That's good, right?
Yeah. So like I delay it a little bit.
Yeah.
Where I'll give like a half a second or so before I start pivoting off to give the dog time to turn around the leg.
Yes.
But if you see like, let's say you pivot and Bessie keeps going, like I wouldn't keep hanging on that leg hoping that she sees it. I just go into that pivot and turn and tap to get her to pay attention.
See, there has to be this moment of if she's not paying attention, move faster to kind of correct for it and get her attention on you.
Correct. Right. So whenever they get out of line in the sense of focus, by default, it's your responsibility to get them back under control using the remote and your correctional turn.
Yes.
Okay. Other questions?
No. I just wish Will were here because then I could have. He would.
Well, you can watch it.
All this.
Yeah, he can watch it.
I know.
So
you messed up there. You messed up there.
It's a lot harder than it looks.
It is.
You actually got it really well. You got it off the first go. And most people would ask for like, no, show me first before. And you were like, yeah, let me try it. So that was all good. Yeah. And you got all of them correct but one.
Oh, I know. As I was doing, I was like, this is incorrect.
Yeah. And if it feels awkward, something that's, you're getting that something is incorrect. Yeah. And then once you figure it out, you're like, oh, okay. And then that just prevents you from doing it again. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So now we got some time left.
Okay.
You want to try working with both dogs together?
Oh, yes, please. That would be great having you here for that.
So, trying to think what would be the best setup. I think if you took your leash, I'm not a big fan of this, just so you know.
Okay.
But because you have 2 dogs, I think this is probably going to be the best approach.
Okay.
Is that you take your leash. And probably do dog like this with the second handle.
Should I just get shorter leashes for when I run and walk with them together?
What is this, a 6-foot leash?
Yeah.
Oh, you can get a 4-footer.
Yeah, I thought, I don't know what happened. These were much larger than I thought they were going to be, or I don't know what happened.
Sure.
Yeah.
So what we'll do for now.
Excuses.
Is, just get a leash in each hand.
Sure.
Pick your remote hand, right?
Yep.
So you're going to have one like this, and then the other right here.
Okay.
Arms are still nice and relaxed.
Yep.
Okay. Now what's going to be difficult is if, like, let's say Benny starts to pass, you have to pivot. The correctional pivots, okay?
Say that again?
The correctional pivots,
yeah.
you just go 180.
Oh,
because you're going to have Bessie on the other side now.
Right.
So it's not going to be as fluid.
No.
Okay? So that we figure out as we go along.
Okay.
That's why I tell people to work with them individually first.
Yes.
So when when you put them together, there shouldn't be any real need to have to do a bunch of corrections.
Right. Okay. Honestly, in a lot of those, I didn't really have to hit the button a lot. So.
Yeah, no. They were doing good. So as long as they're paying attention, we don't need to do anything.
Right.
What's the highest that you've had to go for Bessie? Like 40? Was
45.
it 5? And
I
if for
a couple times 50.
Okay. And what about this guy?
Same.
Same?
I've had it on 45 for a while for both of them.
Okay, so I would keep it at 45 then, because that'll just kind of be the neutral number.
Okay.
You'll get used to like going up and down individually if you have to,
Okay.
but it's obviously easier if both dogs are on the same frequency. So it makes life a little bit simpler.
It does. The thing that's going to be interesting is remembering to flip back and forth.
Yes, because yours is a switch, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's this little switch right here.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Excuse me. Can I please stand between you two? All right, ready? Heel.
So I'm gonna have you start with practicing 5 crossover turns. You got it. You got it. Good.
Oh, poor Bessie.
It's okay. You got it. You got it. You got it. You got it. Good. It's a little bit more awkward with 2 dogs now.
What?
So it's going to be a little bit harder with 2 dogs.
I feel like I'm losing their attention.
You're actually doing pretty good. It's just because now that you have 2, you have to be a bit more assertive in the lead.
Okay.
Okay, so in your movement, it's just like, this is what we're doing. There you go. Yeah, because for Ben, since he's on the outside, he doesn't really get to see a good, clear, because you're moving away from him. So you're going to see him lag a little bit, and you can tap to bring him in closer if needed. There you go. There you go. That was a good turn.
Okay. It's more like that.
Yes.
I'm doing the right leg, aren't I?
You're correct. You're leading with the correct leg.
now I have no idea.
Now you're like, what's going on?
Yes.
There you go. There you go. So now we're going to switch it. Now you're going to do 5 crossover turns to the left, going towards Benny.
Why are there 2 of them?
Right, sharper cut. Sharper cut, yep. There you go, much better. Better. Got it forward. Keep forward. Keep forward, you got it. Huh? Little biker gang.
Yeah, right?
Right, left, good one. Good. Try one more. So you see how that one was awkward?
Yes.
So go ahead and slow to stop here in the center.
Further towards you?
No, you're good. Go ahead and, or you're fine. Go ahead and move forward. You're good. Since you started it, you're good.
Go.
Slow to stop. And tap for, there we go. Very good. Excellent. Okay. That last one, you did a soft, like, turn in.
Yes.
And that's why it became awkward,
Yes.
as opposed to a sharp, just here, this is what we're doing.
Or just boom.
Yes, and a lot of people do that. The leading leg for those crossovers has to be very pronounced so that you're blocking the dog, and the dog goes, oh, there's a wall here.
Right.
But if you do a soft step, the next thing you know, your other leg is gonna push the dog out, and then that's where things get misaligned, okay? But that was really good, okay? This is why it was important that we get the focus for each dog separately,
Yes.
so that when we put them together, it's much easier.
Yeah.
Same rules for both of them.
They
Okay.
did really well together, more than I thought they would.
Yeah.
You guys are awesome.
Questions so far?
Just practice.
Okay.
Right now.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. It's just getting used to it. What we're gonna do now is same spiel, but you're now gonna use it interchangeably. Heel to stop, crossover turns, going to the left and going to the right. Remember, most likely not gonna pivot.
Right. It would be really difficult because there'd be a crossover turn involved. Wouldn't there be?
Well, because I mean, you can't, I've pivoted before. I'm just trying to remember how I pivot. What you'd have to do is keep one dog back.
Oh.
Right? So like
I
it would
see.
look like, Benny on the side.
Dog training.
Dog training.
Dog training.
Yeah.
Dog training.
So then, if I'm walking, hey guys, I'm trying. Just pay my time. So
Seen the dogs?
if leading right to that right leg, hold back on the dog on the left,
Okay.
so that they're not getting in the way. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
And you're most likely going to have to do, like you said, a crossover,
Right.
a blend. Now that I think, I've not really had to think of that. When I slow down, right?
Right.
I know this dog's going to feed off of this leg.
Right.
This left hand is going to stall this dog,
Right.
right? Because they're going to want to keep going,
Okay.
right? So I step out and then I'm crossing over,
Right.
and then I'm going back like that.
Yes.
Does that make sense?
It does. It does.
Okay.
Yeah.
I usually tell people if you can, just do your crossovers,
Right.
Right? Because it's the easiest.
Right.
But if life doesn't allow you to be able to do a crossover, it would be leading. This dog catches this leg. You're controlling this dog with a little bit of leash pressure, and then you're going to work the shot.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you want to try it?
I do. Because I'm curious about how it's going to feel. If I trip over the dog, don't worry about it.
You're good. Go for it. I was trying to think if I had something else to tell you, but you're good.
No, that's fine. No, wrong way.
There you go. You got it.
Not bad.
You got it. That was it. You got it.
Try with Bessie.
You got it.
It's not as much of a crossover turn as I thought it would be.
Yeah, that's what I'm used to walking. I walk like 6 dogs.
Like 9 or 10 dogs.
Yeah. So there's a lot more going on. So now let's try this.
Okay.
You're gonna do all those turns interchangeably. Okay, so you technically have 4 types of turns, and then your heel to stops.
Okay.
Okay, you just go about them as you want. Okay.
Okay.
Whenever you're ready,
So just do it all.
go for it. Almost. Yep, correct it. You got it. There you go. Good. Good. You got it. Tap Bessie to get her attention from the grass. There you go.
Thank you.
You got it. Good. You got it. Good. Good. Let's try a couple more. Good crossover. Good crossover.
I'm trying to just kind of slow down there for a second to give him time to catch up. Is that okay?
Yeah. Off-leash dog.
That's why I don't like off-leash dogs.
There you go.
Trained by you.
Good recovery there.
Thanks.
Good crossover. Good pivot. There you go. Yep, keep it moving. You got it. Good job. Very good.
That's actually very helpful.
Having both?
Yeah. I
Yep.
kind of like having that in my tool set. You know?
Yeah. Go ahead and slow to stop. You did really well.
Thank you.
Okay. The main thing is recovery.
Yes.
Being able to recover.
Yeah.
Right. So there was a couple where you mixed up the turn.
Yeah.
But then you just kept it moving, and then you did what you had to do. Now we're back to normal, right?
Yes.
So obedience is very black and white.
Yes.
You know, it's a very strict looking command and stuff. But when you start to delve into more than one dog,
Right.
now you're going into how do I communicate with the pack of dogs, because you have a total of 7, right? Okay. So
The thing is though, so one of my little guys, he's 5 pounds, he's a Chihuahua. You would have fun with him. He will only walk on your left.
Sure.
If he gets anywhere else, he will do everything humanly possible to get back.
To get back to that left side. Sure.
It's so strange how he does it, but
Yeah.
he screams bloody murder over everything.
Huh.
He is
Sounds like my Chihuahua.
Yeah. He's an anxiety-ridden little dude.
Uh-huh.
And so he tends to only go with the other little dogs. Because these guys, he's just like, what's down there? You know, and he just steps on it.
Sure.
So, and my dachshund likes to bark at everything.
Mm-hmm.
Our trainer said she'd grow out of it.
No.
She didn't.
That's yeah. That's a very common thing, you know, see if they grow out of it. And I tell them no, because the more they do it and it goes unaddressed, the more it becomes habit.
Well, and then we would use the prong collar on her because that's what they taught us to do. And they said we'll put her in to sit. She just learned to sit and bark at the same time.
Yes, that's another. I had a trainer once tell me that to put a dog in a down because a dog cannot down and bark at the same time. And literally the day that she told me that, the dog barked while it was laying down.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh my God, that's the first time that's ever happened. And I'm like, how long have you been training for? Like, I was just starting out and I already knew that wasn't going to be an answer, right?
Oh no, I can let you know right now. She'll bark however she wants. She's going to bark.
Yeah.
She's barked when I have my hand around her mouth.
Yeah. So, it's dachshunds.
Yeah.
So, is this all making sense here?
It is. It's so, I've really enjoyed walking them the past week. It's been so much fun just kind of experiencing and watching them do this.
Sure.
And I like the challenge. It's really neat to teach them this way. It feels like the first time it's effective.
Right. That's why I insist. This is why I only train with e-collar.
Yeah.
Is because I have a very high standard for obedience.
Yeah.
This is the only tool that gets me there.
Yes.
2, I understand dog owners, they have their jobs, if
Yes.
not their own business, family, social life, the stresses of life and stuff. The last thing you want is, do this 3 to 6 hours a day with your dog and it doesn't even work.
Right.
Right? This, it's once they learn the concept, it's very simple to just take it, transfer it. If anything, it's just raise your number. Is what I tell everybody. If the dog's not listening, just raise your number.
Yeah.
Make them listen.
Yeah.
Okay? So, for what I would suggest for this week is, how many walks do you do with them a day?
It depends on if I get to run. If they run, they'll get the run and a walk. Right now, it's been more of a walk.
Right, because we talked about.
Business, so I work a lot right now.
Right. Yeah.
And it's been a little bad for them. So.
Sure. So don't worry about consistency and being able to work with them every day.
Right.
Just worry about consistency and how you work with them. Okay. So like I get some clients that travel Monday through Friday.
Right.
And they're here Friday through Sunday, and then they would travel again, right?
Yes.
And they're like, Jesse, I'm concerned that I'm only going to be able to work my dog 2.5 days.
Right.
Is it even worth training? Oh, yeah. I was like, because those 2.5 days, if you're consistent with how you are and what you do with them, it's going to be the same thing.
Yeah.
They don't forget over the course of the week.
Right.
Okay. So,
they're creatures of habit. They get that.
So they just think every time I'm with mom and I walk with her, it's like this.
Yes.
Okay. And then that's what they pick up on.
Yes.
So what I would suggest is I would focus more so on mastering walking them individually with the turns. Okay. Once it could be 2 to 3 days where you're like, oh, I got the turns, I'm good. then you can start integrating them on the walk together if you'd like. Okay, so now you don't not having to do 2 training trips or whatever a day. It's just the one because it's now you just have to learn the movements.
Right.
Okay. Questions about that?
No. I'm assuming all of this would apply with running, right? It's the same way.
Yeah. Now with running, when you come to those stops and stuff,
right.
If you're gonna do both, you'd have to slow down fairly drastically. You're gonna have to compensate a bit because of the speed. Right. So if you need to turn around, it's either gonna be a really wide turn.
Right.
Or you slow down drastically, complete your turn, and then pick up your pace to do the 180.
I run slow, so
okay.
That'll help.
Other questions?
You guys trot next to me.
Other questions?
Not right now. I feel like we covered most of them throughout.
So now what we have to do is the doorbell behavior, right? And then her in the kennel with the barking and stuff. Is that
your suggestion last time? Because we were worried about what will happen when we go home. We got everybody else outside. We put her in the kennel, and she calmed down within 10 or 15 minutes. Took a nap, and then we let her out.
Okay.
It was great.
So you came home from here.
Yes.
Put her in the kennel. Removed everybody.
We removed everybody. We put everyone in the backyard first. Then brought her in the house. Put her in the kennel with the e-collar on, and then Will just sat there and until she kind of calmed down. He just kind of tapped her, until she got the point.
Okay.
Then she went to sleep.
Okay. And it took 10 to 15 minutes.
Yeah, about.
Okay. If you repeat that tonight, or anytime you do repeat that, seconds. Okay. It should be fair. It should be seconds. Okay.
Yeah.
That you de-escalate her.
Yes.
So, I would challenge yourselves to try to get that done. Okay. If you feel like you're making it worse, just let it go, or do what you did, what Will did previously, right? It'll take longer, but whatever. Okay. We'll make a note of it. Okay. You can always film stuff, so you can email it to me and say, Jesse, and in the video, like you'll say, 45, tap, tap, right? 50, tap. So I know what you're doing. Yes. And then I can tell you, like I can see and know what you're doing and tell you what was done incorrectly or why you struggled, okay? So I would start doing that now. Any other time where it would take Bessie a bit to settle?
So I don't know if I mentioned this or not, but we have dogs in the backyard, like the neighbor's backyard, and they like to go all up and run into the fence and then bark at him, right?
Oh, sure.
And I did try it with the e-collar on Sunday, and she then actually stopped and she ran up to me.
Okay.
So, and then that helped a lot. But it's kind of, I would like to avoid that altogether, so that she doesn't feel the need to run up to the fence.
Okay, so you take her outside. Yeah. She's got the e-collar on. Yeah. Whatever's happening, she just starts barking right off the bat.
If they know the dogs are back there, they run up to the corner of the fence and they all just start barking and growling at each other.
Tap.
So, that's what I did.
Tap.
Sorry.
Tap, that's okay.
This one.
Yep, tap. Tap, tap. So do one, then the other. Tap.
I am.
Tap, tap.
Why are you ignoring me?
Tap, 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 tap.
I swear it's on you.
It's okay. It's because you're putting pressure on the neck. It's moving the collar a bit. This is normal.
Oh, is it?
Yep. So go ahead and again adjust your number. Tap, 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 tap. Right, and then bump your number again. Tap, 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 tap. Bump your number again.
On?
Yeah. Bump your number. What's your number now?
64.
Okay. Tap, tap, tap. Tap, tap, tap. Tap, tap, tap. 70.
What the deuce, man?
Tap, 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 tap. 78. Tap, 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 tap.
Thank you.
Right. Now go back down. Go to like 50. Then we're gonna swap to Bessie. And then light pull up, tap. There you go. Tap and relax. There you go. Good. Just reinforcing everything, right?
Yes.
So you want to get used to that.
Yes.
Because people it's very common. Like, what's going on? Was this working?
Right.
For whatever reason, either the collar moved or he's distracted. You just went to 75, and then right away it clicked, and then he put his butt down. Okay.
So you just have to get that working number. For
correct. Okay. And as you get used to it, because I could tell he wasn't feeling a thing. That's why I wasn't worried.
Okay.
Okay. If he was giving a really big contraction, then I would suspect, like, man, once as we go higher, we might get a yelp.
Okay.
But you know, it may happen. It's okay. If you try to be perfect all the time, you're gonna work against yourself. Okay, you're making things harder for yourself.
Yeah.
So, for the yard, it's the neighbor's dog. I'm sorry, that's outside.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
and then they're fence fighting.
Yes.
Okay, so that's very. So dogs again are very black and white.
Right.
They have their territory. Your neighbor has their territory, and they're going, you know, stay out of my yard, whatever, blah blah blah. Right? I wouldn't expect to be able to eliminate that completely.
Right.
Okay, but you can definitely dissuade it. And what you want to do is I would isolate who's the instigator. Both of them are. I would do one dog at a time.
Okay.
Okay. First you set out Ben.
Okay.
And then he's barking. And me personally, if I want to cut the behavior immediately, I just max out the collar. 127.
okay.
Boom, 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 boom. Right?
Okay.
So then he's like, holy crap, right?
This means bad sound.
Yeah. And then he runs to the door and he's like, I want nothing to do with the fence. And then I leave him alone out there, okay? To let him process. Then I do it with Bessie, okay? Same response. And I keep repeating that. You want to isolate in the beginning so that when you put them together, because they will feed off of each other.
Right.
If one thinks about it, then one's like, yeah, me too. And then they're both there. And if you try to do a tap that harsh with both of them out there, you might get redirect. Okay, so that's why we want to isolate first to make things easier. So that ideally we don't even see the behavior.
Yes.
So it's very harsh consequence for something that we absolutely don't want,
Right.
okay? The reason why you can come in harsh with that is because it's just don't bark at the fence.
Right.
We're not, if you're to say like, I want my dogs to make friends with my neighbor's dog through the fence, I would say no. But if we try to do that, it would be super nuanced,
Right.
okay? This is just cut the crap, you don't do that, okay?
That's our other new phrase, cut the crap.
Cut the crap.
Every time we say, cut the crap, dude.
Yeah, so it just comes down to the consequence,
Yes.
okay? Dog logic versus human logic is different,
Right.
okay? So, because people will say like, counter surfing,
Right.
I'll
He tried to jump at the stove this week and it's on fire.
Oh, wow.
So he went in the e-collar.
Sure.
And he stopped.
Sure, yep. And
Plus they stopped jumping in fire.
yes, right, because he doesn't know what that is, right?
No.
And like I've had dogs that will counter surf and the owner will do 127 or whatever, but the dog will still keep counter surfing. They're like, Jesse, how? Like, why is it all? I'm like, because it's a dog.
Yeah.
I'm like, their logic versus our logic is not the same. If they're like, yeah, that piece of turkey on the stove or whatever is worth the 127, they're gonna do it. So then we have to find the means of getting there preemptively,
Right.
so that it's early in the thought process. The dog goes, not even thinking about it is worth the issue, is worth the 127 correction.
Right.
Okay. Other questions?
So the feisty dachshund, one of the weird things, I know you probably have to get going.
No, you're fine.
We give them bones at night. They get bully sticks, right, as their treat. And we put her in her crate to avoid possessiveness issues, which helps. And now with the e-collar, she's stopped barking at the dachshund, but the dachshund likes to sit on the sofa and bark at her.
Sure.
I put her on the floor, she still barks at her.
Sure.
So we're not entirely sure how to convince the dachshund to stop doing this.
How's the dachshund?
She's 5.
Okay. I would just do a bonker.
Do what?
A bonker.
What is that?
It's a rolled up towel.
Okay.
So you roll it up
Okay.
and you use rubber band or hair bands to keep it shape, and you either bonk or whack the dog with it.
Oh,
Okay.
oh,
So it's a
okay.
firm but soft surface.
Right.
Okay. So again, physicality.
Yeah.
Tap for Bessie.
Oh.
You could do one of two things. One, you could do that, or you could also e-collar.
Okay.
I think bonker would be best, so that you're not having to worry about, because then the dog might learn without the e-collar I can bark, right? Whereas the bonker tap is more so associated to you. You could also use, is she the one on the prong?
She does use the prong.
Yeah. And you've done corrections with the prong.
Yeah.
And she keeps barking.
Yeah.
Okay, so over the Zoom, I can take a look. If we can recreate the situation, I can see what's going on.
Okay.
And see if your corrections are correct.
Okay.
If she's a really tough dachshund and your corrections are correct, then we have to find another means of correcting her, which we could use the bonker.
Okay.
I'll send you some videos tonight.
Sure.
There's 3 of them. How to make one, how to use one, and a trainer actively using one.
Okay.
And the trainer uses considerable force.
Okay.
Okay, he's working with the puppy, and the puppy's being very pushy, and he goes no, and he corrects the puppy to give you a visual of like, oh wow, like this is how it's supposed to be applied,
Okay.
because most people won't do it naturally.
Right.
Most people are like, boop,
Yes.
you know? But it has to be firm to dissuade the behavior.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
So go ahead, what I would suggest is, go over things with Will,
Okay.
make your list of what you want to cover,
Yes.
and email me,
Okay.
and I'll take a look at it.
Okay. Okay.
and I can start planning our Zoom sessions.
Great.
Okay.
Okay.
A lot of times, multiple behaviors is really one thing.
Yeah.
Okay, so then it's like it could be 10 things, but 7 of them are related.
Yeah.
That the other 3 are easy peasy. Okay.
Yeah.
Anything else?
No, I think that's it. I think that's awesome.
Yeah.
You're fantastic. Thank you.
No problem. Thank you.
You make our life so much easier.
No, I appreciate it.
You're welcome.